Hi everyone, welcome to another video from Amourshipping Dude. So today what I'm going to be doing is ranking the top 5 Pokegirls from the Pokemon anime. And originally I was going to do top 10 and include the girls that didn't travel with Ash, but I decided it's not really fair to compare the girls that didn't travel with the ones that did, since there's such a big difference in screen time. So I'm just ranking the out of the 6. I'm including Bonnie in this that traveled with Ash through the anime, and I'm not including the Alola girls. Just don't think there's been enough time to really put them in here, because who knows? They seem okay right now. They seem pretty good. I like them so far, but who knows? They might end up getting better than I think they are, and they might end up getting worse. There's still a long time to go with the Sun and Moon anime. So the ones I'm going to include in this are Misty, the original, May from the Advanced series, Dawn from Diamond and Pearl, Iris from Black and White, Bonnie, and Serena from X and Y. Alright, so since I'm just doing a ranking of 5 with 6 characters, I might as well just say a quick thing about why Iris, who ranks number 6 out of 6, is outside of the top 5 here. So just overall, Iris wasn't an interesting character to me. At times she was annoying. I mean, some people she might have just been funny or whatever, but to me, personally, I thought she was annoying at times. Sometimes she was fine, you know, just typical Pokegirl. But sometimes she got on my nerves. But whatever. Most of all, it was just that she didn't have an interesting goal to me. She and Misty probably had the least interesting to me. Just it's kind of a hard goal to judge, you know, based on the other ones like contests and performances with May, Dawn, and Serena. But compared to Misty, I would say that Iris actually had better development with her goal, ending up, I think she was en route to becoming a gym leader, while Misty basically just ended up going back to what she was doing before her journey with Ash. But overall, the goal wasn't too interesting. I did enjoy her little story with Dragonite, even though that was kind of just repetitive to what happened with Ash and Charizard. But it was a nice little story. But overall, not that interesting of a character to me, and ranks outside of my top 5, just for kind of lack of an interesting story, and personally, I was just irritated with her. Number 5, Misty. Now, I do like Misty. A lot of people, I think, assume I don't. Misty, probably mostly it's nostalgia. Misty being the original Pokegirl. I guess she didn't have an interesting goal either, really, to me. The whole master of a specific type. I think there are ways you can go about that with the show, being a trainer of a specific type. You know, like how they progress to maybe being a Pokemon or an Elite Four member or something like that. Now maybe if Iris's story had gone on longer, that's what would have happened with her because she moved on to becoming a gym leader, or I think uh, in the future she would be a gym leader. With Misty, that goal didn't really kind of make any progress, I think, just because she was already a gym leader, and in the end, she she just went back to being a gym leader. But she did, get some more Pokemon. I think we could say she improved as a trainer. And then her personality kind of changed. She was originally quite angry with Ash, and then demanding the bike, following him just because of the bike, or at least we can assume that was the case. But then she did end up becoming much more supportive, and in the end, when Ash finally had that big match with Gary, Misty was a big help in how she supported Ash, um, and her own Pokemon. There was a rocky relationship with her Psyduck. She didn't want it first, but then she did show that she cared about it overall, and I found that relationship to be kind of interesting. And of course, she had a Poliwag, and obviously a Poliwag. That makes that really. I don't know how she ended up so low on the list, having a Poliwag. But yeah, overall, Misty was just an interesting character, I guess. I think most of this is nostalgia, but also, to be fair, being in the first series, the story was focused mainly on Ash, so there's more of an I'm making excuses, more of an excuse for her to have less of a story than like with Iris, who's a much more recent character. But still, Misty did kind of develop into more than just the angry girl who was following Ash to a supportive friend, and then they had an emotional goodbye in the end, and it kind of wrapped up not really a story, but just a relationship nicely. Number 4, May. Now, May was an interesting character to me. She was the first to have a real goal, and she started out not having a goal, which was interesting. Kind of like Serena. Uh, with May, she just wanted to travel, and she actually wasn't very interested in Pokemon. But as she traveled with Ash, and Ash kind of took on a mentorship role with her, she ended up becoming a pretty skilled Pokemon trainer, and competed in 2 grand festivals, one in Hoenn, one in Kanto, and she kind of developed, with Ash's help, into a pretty good trainer, pretty good coordinator. Ended up loving Pokemon almost as much as Ash, and I think her story was wrapped up really well with a really good final battle against Ash to finish off the Battle Frontier series, with Blaziken and Sceptile, which actually ended in a draw. Uh, Pretty impressive considering Sceptile, not too long after that, ended up taking out a Darkrai that had defeated all 8 Sinnoh gym leaders and all the other Pokemon that it had battled up until that point in the Sinnoh League. Next up is Bonnie at number 3. You might wonder why Bonnie would rank onto this list, and why I would include her. Just Bonnie was an awesome character to me. I love Bonnie's personality. Um, she kind of took no crap from anybody else. Really, she she didn't have a specific goal, I guess. But at different points, she does mention wanting to become a trainer, and then in the end, she talks about how she wants to kind of do everything. She wants to beat Ash, she wants to beat Clement, she wants to beat Serena, and travel on her journey with Dedenne and just kind of accomplish all these different things. Kind of, I think it shows just her age and how young she was. Maybe there's a little less focus with her goals, but kind of there's so much she wants to do, and it just shows that her future is so wide open. And I thought that was just kind of interesting. And then I loved her relationship with all the characters. With Clement, I loved how she always did her little proposal gag. I thought that was a funny gag. Um, she had a good relationship with Serena. They really did seem like sisters in the series. And then, of course, there was Squishy, and that ended up being so crucial to the Team Flare arc in the end. And arguably, Bonnie saved the day by getting Squishy out of control of Team Flare, and then Squishy was big in saving the day when Lysander almost destroyed the world. Number 2. Now this is the big one. You're all wondering what I'm going to say. It's Dawn. Dawn, arguably is the most developed of the Pokegirls, but she ranks number 2 for me. There's nothing really I can say negative about Dawn. She's just number 2 on my list. That's basically it. She started out as just a rookie trainer. She was trying to kind of see what she could do to accomplish what her mother did. Her mother being the accomplished, successful coordinator in the past, and Dawn wanted to do that as well. So Dawn kind of started out inexperienced. She didn't really know too much, which is some people criticize because her mother was a coordinator, so there was no reason why Dawn shouldn't have known this stuff. But still, any rookie, struggles when they kind of see these kinds of things up close for the first time. So I think there's no reason to complain about that. And then Dawn ends up kind of learning how tough coordinating really is, and even goes through a depression arc at one point. Takes a break off from contests before ultimately regaining her confidence again, defeating May at the Wallace Cup, developing her Pokemon well. She becomes a very accomplished coordinator, earning all 5 contest ribbons to compete in the Grand Festival, and ends up narrowly losing to her rival Zoe in the final, and reacts to it quite well, knowing that she just wants to keep on doing what she's doing, and it kind of shows how far she's grown after being an inexperienced trainer, then one that goes through a depression, not even willing to participate in a contest, and she becomes finalist in the Grand Festival, and accepts her loss very well. And then Dawn's relationship with Ash was possibly the best, if not the second best, out of all the Pokegirls. It's kind of a different one from Ash and Serena, so I think based on that, you can say that. arguably, to me, it's still Serena. Um, it was kind of I was a Pearl shipper, so I guess you could see romance in it if you want, if you're looking for it. But it was kind of more of a best friend kind of thing. Um, they just always supported each other. Uh, it wasn't really the same as Ash being a mentor like it was with May, although it um, did have a somewhat of a mentorship role, I guess, in the beginning, but it was mostly a friendship thing. Very close friends. Um, uh, they supported each other a lot in the end. Dawn was actually quite crucial to Ash overcoming his depression against after losing his battle against Paul, and she put on a circus for him, and then he cheered up, regrouped with his Pokemon, and then ended up having the big final win against Paul in the Sinnoh League. And then their story together was kind of wrapped up there at the end of Unova with a pretty good battle between Pikachu and Quilava, which I really enjoyed actually. One of the few moments in BW that I enjoyed. Um, just kind of showing how far Dawn had come and showing how well the two knew each other. And finally, number one, Serena. Uh, I know what a lot of you are thinking, and that is this is just because of Amourshipping. And I will admit, part of it is. I think Amourshipping actually is important to Serena's character. I don't think um, having no Amourshipping destroys her character, but I think it is part of the appeal to Serena. Partly because Amourshipping is also interesting with how it developed Ash, the main character. Um, and it also kind of it's a good way to show how Serena develops just kind of separate of Ash too, her own development. So she just started out as a girl uh, living in her mother's shadow, kind of like Dawn, uh, in a different way, though. Overall, with Serena's mother actually kind of forcing Serena into something that she didn't really want to do. So then, when Serena sees Ash on TV, she starts to remember their little meeting at the summer camp, and she decides she wants to move on from this Rhyhorn racing um, and see what her old friend is up to. And I think it's kind of interesting, actually, that Serena didn't have a clearly defined goal when she started. And it kind of even changed in the end. Um, but we did get development from her. I know a lot of people say it wasn't really until she lost her first performance, but we kind of saw interesting parts for character, like how she was willing to teach Ash Rhyhorn racing, kind of showed what she knew about Rhyhorn racing from her mother, and that she was kind of able to take lessons from that into her own future as a Pokemon trainer. We also learned that she liked to bake, and these were all kind of future things that would help her in performing later on. So I don't think it was irrelevant to her. Um, there was also fashion, her rivalry with Miette, and then we kind of started to see her feelings for Ash and how she was kind of shy and nervous um, with small little interactions with Ash. And then her big development came with her first performance loss. Um, when she lost because of Fennekin tripping in the fashion show. And after that, she cut her hair and gave herself a new look, symbolizing her new direction. And she ended up becoming a much more confident trainer and person. She ended up developing her Pokemon into herself and her Pokemon into a good team. They became very skilled performers, ended up earning the 3 princess keys necessary for the Masterclass showcase. She even turned a shy little Eevee into a confident Sylveon. She narrowly lost to Arya in the final and accepted the loss, showing how she had grown since her first loss, where she broke out in tears and had to change her direction. But she was also very important to Ash's development. When he was depressed after his 8th gym battle, she snapped him out of it, and without her, Ash Greninja might not have been mastered. And Ash's success in the Kalos League, part of that can be credited to Serena. And then, of course, there was the wrap-up to her story where she declined Palermo's offer to train with her, showing that she kind of wanted to go her own way. And then she had a really good battle with, or a little battle with Ash. I guess I shouldn't say really good, it was pretty short. But it was a good battle, where she kind of just cleared her head, made her decision, and then she wrapped up the Amourshipping with a kiss to show that she wasn't that nervous little girl anymore. She was perfectly willing to show her feelings towards Ash, give good closure to that relationship, open up a possibility of continuing that story more, and show that she was a much more confident person than when she had left in the end, or started in the end. Alright, so that is the Amourshipping Dude top 5 Pokegirls from the Pokemon anime. Well, I guess it's actually top 6, or ranking of the 6, with Iris falling outside of the top 5 at number 6 out of 6, Misty at number 5, May at number 4, Bonnie at number 3, Dawn at number 2, and Serena at number 1. So obviously just my opinion on the top 5. I'd be interested to know what your top 5 is. So please leave a comment down below. Tell me what your top 5 is, or top 6 in this case. If you want to include the Alola girls, that's fine. I just don't think there's really been enough time to get a proper judgment on them. But if you think they're good so far, or maybe if you think they have the potential to be high up on this list, go ahead and include them. Yeah, so that's about it. Thanks for watching, and hopefully it won't be too long until I get another video out. See you next time.